This is New Jersey.
What comprises this greater Philadelphia area? Well, the Delaware River is a boundary only on the maps. The Philadelphia city limits are mere road markers, pointing the way to a whole new world. First, across the Delaware Bridge to our equally industrious, equally prosperous neighbor, Camden, New Jersey. The destinies of our two cities are linked together by a spirit, a common good that no mere river can divide.
The short history is that this was predominantly an Italian section of Camden, and I'm going back before my time, but a lot of the Italians and Irish used to pick in the South Jersey, which is really Garden State down here. And then as they became more popular and they started working up the economic ladder, they started buying some of the farms. Then you had Southern blacks coming up, and you had sort of demographics just changed. You know, and blacks became more integrated, more involved with community and business. Then it was the Spanish. Now I don't know. It's probably the Latinos now. Really
Vietnamese probably.
Vietnamese. So it's really I've been here since I was born here, and I've been here working with my aunt, who subsequently has died 20 years ago. The demographics has changed.
Yeah.
I'm John Gianluca, and I've been working in Camden since 1975 as a handyman, repairman, and then working with my aunt, who has since passed some 20 years ago. And when she passed on, her sister, my other aunt, became the landlord, manager. And then when she passed, it was my turn. I was only supposed to be working here for 2 weeks. In 1975, my aunt said, would you come paint a couple of rooms? She owned properties. When she died, she had 72 properties.
Wow.
And she was only that big, and she did it all by herself. She says, would you come and paint a couple rooms? I said, I don't want to. I don't want to come into Camden. You know, I was here and I moved. I came, I painted 2 rooms. That was 1975, and I'm still painting rooms. So we had a really nice playground that somebody donated 2 years ago. The kids burnt it down. It was plastic and metal and wood. So this is what's left. The church kind of patched this kind of playground for the kids. This section of Camden, by the way, is called Waterfront South. It's the oldest section in the city. It goes way back. Again, the demographics here, you had Irish, you had some Jewish community, a lot of Italian. Everybody had gardens. When the winemaking season started and finished, everybody that made wine, which was just about everybody, put the leftovers out on the curb. People would come running out and smell the grapes or taste the grapes, and if they were good, they would take it and use it for their garden.
Wow.
And it was really a ghetto, you know, in a different sense than the ghettos used today. And my uncle just died 3 weeks ago, a month ago. He was 92 years old. Never been sick a day in his life. He'd been here for at least 6 years. His wife's still living down in the next block. I think Mary's 88 or 89 years old. And he loved the city. With the noise, the rats, the shooting, the stabbing, the screaming, he loved it.
Yeah.
I took him down to, my wife and I went to visit her parents in Florida about 3 years ago. I took him with me. And he loved Florida, but he said, I couldn't wait to get back home to the stinky city. There's a lot of character in this city. You wouldn't know it now. But there's a new generation of characters of people.
potatoes that we're getting ready to...
Andrea came here, I didn't know it was that long, about 8 or 9 years ago. And I would see her on the street on a skateboard, just skating back and forth. She started doing garden work for the church in the capacity of just volunteering. And subsequently she's gotten a position, and she also teaches art. But she is really a farmer at heart, and I know that because my grandparents were farmers. And she's a beautiful young woman, but yet she gets her hands in the dirt, she gets mud on her shoes, rain, snow, or shine, and she's out there working. And that's it's honest. It's honest for me to see that.
This bed here, I work with a youth-based sustainable agriculture program. The junior farmers come to our greenhouse 3 times a week, and we cook, we grow plants, we harvest, we run a farmer's market, and we collaborate with the CSA out of Philly, Greens Grow. And today we'll come here and we'll plant eggplant with the youth. But we're always looking for ideas on how to do value added at the market. So I have these little bundles of sage. My name is Andrea Farrick. I'm the Director of Sustainability at the Center for Environmental Transformation here in Camden, New Jersey. And it's a nonprofit that's focused on sustainable community development, projects that help to remediate the environmental injustices that have plagued this neighborhood, Waterfront South, disproportionately over the last few decades since the shipyard closed in the 1960s. Yeah, so here we are, across the street from Sacred Heart School, walking back to our greenhouse. And this area is called Eve's Garden. And Eve was a woman that I met in the neighborhood when I first moved here. She said she really liked to garden. So we started gardening together. It's named after her, and together we created this new Eden in the city. This is one of the food grade barrels that is transformed into a rain barrel. So it goes underneath the gutter of your house, and it helps to keep the rainwater from becoming sewage here in Camden and flooding the streets. I grew up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I grew up gardening with my family, and I was always fascinated with how I felt after gardening, particularly with my mother and different kids from the neighborhood. And then in college, I was studying ecological economics. And what ecological economics was doing for me was bringing together 2 views that had been historically dualistic. So myself as an artist, as a creator, connected with the earth as a creation, and sort of became a seamless spiritual journey of understanding the process of both. This is called Poet's Walk, and there was a brick from James Joyce's house in Dublin that was brought to places of great resurrection around the world. There's 90 of these bricks, and this is the first brick brought to the States. And I was at Eastern College. There was a wild, wonderful Irish farmer, poet, priest who came and talked about the neighborhood. I really felt like it was this great integration of so many things that I was really passionate about: sustainable community development, writing, poetry, storytelling, youth, and this opportunity of such high levels of unemployment, so many abandoned parcels of land, and groups of people who have strong traditions of farming, people from the South, Latin America, Asia. And we walked around and he showed me parcel after parcel and said, "You can garden here. And look at this space here." And I spent a lot of time talking with residents, finding out what people wanted. And I moved into the community in 2003 with some friends, and we lived in a house together, a community house that Father Michael let us live in. And one of the first things that I felt was important was finding ways to love our enemies. And in this neighborhood, a lot of the enemies are the industries. It's like sort of easy to say, this is why Billy has asthma, and this is why my mom has cancer. And when we went around and talked with the trash to steam incinerator, I asked them if we could use the excess steam to heat a greenhouse. and they said, well, you can use this steam, but you can't bring kids to this greenhouse on their site because of liability. So they ended up giving us funding to build the greenhouse, and it stands right here behind the bread oven, and it's a place where we're creating jobs and improving the environment and providing a lot of healthy food for the community. All right, so I just want to show you guys a bike real quick. And this is a bicycle-powered rainwater collection system. And on the full side of the greenhouse, there's a gutter. And when it rains, the rainwater comes into these 3 tanks. And they're hosed together and connected to this hydro pump. So when we water the plants in here, we have one of the kids make sure that the bicycle is getting traction. Then we hop on and we pump out the rainwater. And this is, again, another part of helping to reduce the flooding in the city. It's exercise, it's free, it hasn't been chlorinated. It's a lot of fun. Camden's really in a fabulous opportunity in terms of green infrastructure development and bioremediation of contaminated lands, and almost even perhaps ecotourism. And in the city, in the next 3 years, I can really see a lot of the brownfield Superfund sites being remediated and transformed into opportunities for sustainable community development, having jobs that are good for the environment, as Camden's surely back on its feet.